Today I'm making something really fun, and these are my Jumbo Shamrock sugar cookies. So let's get on with the ingredients. 1 cup of softened butter, and I'm using unsalted butter. 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. 1 1/2 cups of regular white sugar. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 1 egg, and some green food coloring. I've got liquid food coloring here, and I have a paste green food coloring here. Today I'm going to be using the paste, so let's remove our liquid. You can use liquid if you don't have the paste, so we're going to use that there. Also, in my flour, what you see here is a large round cookie cutter, and I have a smaller Shamrock cookie cutter, and those two things we're going to be using for this recipe. So those are the ingredients, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is get our butter in there, and then I'm going to take all of our sugar and get our sugar in there. And the first thing that we want to do is we always want to cream our fats with our sugar. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get my mixer here on very slow speed, on speed number 1. And I'm going to start to cream this together. And the softer your butter is, the easier this process will be. A recipe note, if you're using salted butter, simply omit that 1 teaspoon of salt that you saw me showing you at the beginning of the recipe. So you can either use salted butter or non-salted. The choice is yours. So I'll get this creamed up and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've been mixing this for about a good minute or so, and it's starting to come together quite nicely. So there we go. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add in my egg. So we'll just get our egg right in there. So this recipe calls for 1 egg, and we'll get that incorporated. And what this will do is it'll really loosen this up, and it'll allow you to really get this really well incorporated. At this stage, you really want to have this really mixed well together. Okay, that's good. And I'm just going to throw in my salt. There we go. And my vanilla. And I'll mix that in. Alright, that's done. Okay, so I'll just bring this onto camera a little bit here. So we have our flour and we have our baking powder here. Now you can either put your baking powder into the flour or you can dump it directly in there. I like to put it into my flour just so that it incorporates with the flour before it hits the wet ingredients. So we're just going to do that. If you want to spin it a little bit, you can do it like this. Just take your hands on the handle. You can just go like that, and that works well if you don't want to make a mess and have a little bit more control over your whisk. Or you can just do it like that. Or you can use a fork. Whatever you have available. So there we go. And then we'll get this back. There we go. And I'm just going to add a little bit of this. You can sift this if you wish. Sometimes I sift it, sometimes I don't. And we'll just mix this up and get this going. Okay, I'll add a little bit more. Alright, and my last addition of flour, there we go. You can see that this is a very easy recipe. And in case you're wondering, this is Wilton's official sugar cookie recipe. The only thing that I did differently today is instead of using 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla, I used 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I omitted the 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. So if you want a really good sugar, cookie recipe, try this recipe. It's tried and true. It really works well. I use it all the time. So we'll just get this all mixed up. Okay, that's good. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to split this cookie batter into 2 sections because I want to add food coloring to 1/2. So I'm going to split this up right now. Alright, I've got myself another bowl and I'm just going to eyeball this. And there we go. That's about 1/2 and 1/2, as we can see there. Perfect. Okay, so we've split up our dough. And I'm just going to break this up again. There we go. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit of my green food coloring and just get it in there. And now I'm going to mix that in with the mixer. I can see it getting green. Reconsidering now, I think maybe I should have gone with the liquid food coloring, and I still could. Okay, so you're saying let's put in a little bit of the liquid. Okay, let's try a little bit. Let's be different. This is what's fun about experimenting. So let's just add in a little bit. So this is a 1/2 teaspoon measure. I'm not going to put that much in. About an eighth of a teaspoon. So let's just put that in like that. We'll try that. Alright, so I've been mixing for a good minute or so, and that looks really well incorporated. So that's alright, let's just see. I don't want it so green that it looks really artificial. Just a nice green, and I think that looks nice. Look at that. That's a really nice color now. And that is going to really contrast the regular color which is there. So I think that's pretty good. If we went really dark green, it just wouldn't, I think it would look a little bit too fake. So I think that's nice, just like that. Alright, so that is the end of this step. Okay. So let's do a really fast recap. We made our batch of sugar cookie dough, and we have our green here, and we've got the regular color here. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to roll this out, and we're going to make shapes with our round cutter, and then later on the green is going to fit inside here. So I'm going to show you how that's done right now. Okay. If you find that your sugar cookie dough is a little bit, if it feels like it's falling apart, just the heat of your hands will actually help out. Just grab the little ball of dough and just kind of go like this and keep your hands on it, and this will actually warm it up. You know, you can just kind of play with it a little bit, and the heat of your hand will actually get right into the butter, and that helps out quite a bit. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to just roll this out. So a little bit of flour. And we'll roll that out. I'm using my big rolling pin today. As you're rolling, you just want to do a little roll and give it your dough a spin, just like that. And then I'll show you a trick. I have a little offset spatula here. You can see the angle of the spatula right there. This creates the offset portion of the spatula. And what this enables you to do is to really get right under here with no problem. And what I like to do is get a little bit of flour down on the side, and you can grab a little bit of your flour and just slide right underneath. Okay? It's a little trick that we use. So let's just get this going. Okay, you can just do that. And I don't want to make these too thin. This isn't going to make a lot of cookies because I'm using a very large cookie cutter, but it'll make a few. All depends on how thick you want your cookie as well. There we go. Maybe one more little turn. And there we go. I also want you to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so I've got my round cookie cutter, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a few rounds here. Whenever you're cutting out cookies, always try to use your space efficiently so that you can get a lot of cookies cut out. You'll see many people, they just kind of go around like boom, 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 and they're missing out. And then they're re-rolling more often than they need to, so try to get a nice cut. In this case here, well, we're not going to be able to get any more, but there we go. So we've got 4 here. Perfect. Then I have my little Shamrock cutter, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my time and I'm going to center that just like that, push it down, and now we want to get that out really, really nicely without deforming this too much. So I'm going to try to get this out. Alright, and we're just going to remove that. There we go. I was lucky. And this part we're not going to use. You could actually keep them and bake them if you wish. So there's one, but this is what I'm actually looking for today. And I'm just going to get this underneath and get that over onto my sheet here. And I'm just going to make sure I got it nice and round. There we go. That's good. There's number 1. The second way to do this is to take the cookie, put it on there, then cut it. So get it nicely centered. Let's push down. We don't want to scrape into our pan too much. There we go. And then I'm squeezing on the cookie cutter a little bit, and I want to just remove that. There we go. And now I have another way to do it. And you can see that this way is more efficient because we didn't have to move the cookie twice, we only did it once. Okay, so let's do that again. So we'll get our cookie, get it right onto there. Make sure I'm on camera here. Here we go, right here. And we'll get that on there just like that. That looks good, right in the middle. Perfect. I'm going to squeeze. They're not always going to come out perfectly. There we go. That's not too bad. So there we've got another one. We'll do this one now next. Just get that centered up. Give it a little push. Okay. I'll get my knife just in case. Get it under there just to help it come out. And there we go. Beautiful. So now we have 4 done. So I think you get the idea. Let me just turn this around so you can see a little bit better. So what our next step, what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our green cookie dough, roll that out. We're going to create the inside shamrock, and then we're going to place them into each cookie. And that's going to really, really give a nice effect. So I'll set up for that and I'll be back in a second. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll up a couple more of these. I'll do 2 more on here so that I can fill up this tray. So that's what I'll do. I'll just do that off camera and then I'll be back in a second. Okay, I just decided to zoom in a little bit and just show you the last 2. I'll just do them a little closer up since the camera was quite far away on the other 4. So I've got my little Shamrock cookie cutter. I'm just going to place that just like that, right in the middle, and then just give it a little push, just like that. Grab my knife just in case I need it. So I'm going to grab this and I'm just going to give it a little squeeze, and then just try to lift it out, and there we go. Perfect. Okay, let's do the last one. We'll just place that right in the middle, give it a little push, squeeze it a little bit, Get my knife underneath and lift, and there we go. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got our green portion here, and what I'm going to do is, because we don't need as much, I'm just going to cut this down into half. And if you find that it is a little bit cold, you can just take your hands and just work on it just to warm it up a little bit. So as you work on it, what will happen is the heat of your hand will transfer into the butter. Okay, so that's pretty good. Get a little bit of flour down on our work surface. And we'll roll that out. There we go. Flip. Just want to rotate it. And this is going to be the fun part. We're going to make the little centers for our cookies now. And we have our oven preset to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so our oven is all set to go. And that's about right. You want to have it the same thickness as the original cookie, so that looks great. Alright, so now I've got my little Shamrock cookie cutter, and just place it anywhere and give it a little cut. There we go. And just pull it out. And if you do find that your cookie cutter is sticking, you can put a little bit of flour down in a corner and take your cookie cutter and just move it around. Okay, or you can have a little tiny bowl and just pop it in there and just shake it around, and that will get the flour up quite higher. But you can see, I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but I've got quite a bit of flour on there just by shaking it around like that. That's not bad. Okay, so we'll do another one. Also, if you find that this dough is too warm, then you can actually roll it out like this and then just put it on a plate and put it in the fridge. If you're thinking that it won't cut, as nice as mine is here, but you shouldn't have a problem. Just don't make it too thin, because that's where you will have problems. So there we go. And just take your finger and gently press all of the corners. If you have a problem in, let's say, down there, you can just, there we go, just push it, all the little areas where you might have a problem. And let's do another one. There we go. And our last one. If I'm lucky, I will be able to get one last one out of here. And there we go. And perfect. So we have 6 cutouts for our center, and we also have our cookies ready to go. Okay, so now the fun part. So I'm going to just grab my offset spatula. I'm going to get it right under there. Really, really nice. And now we want to angle it in just like that, just like putting a puzzle together. And if you've done a good job on your cookies, it should just pop right in there. And look at that. Doesn't that look nice? Okay, we'll do our second one. And we'll get that. Just angle it right in like that. A little bit of a push. Now just gently take your finger, and it should just pop right in there. Just like a jigsaw puzzle. And look at that, doesn't that look beautiful? Very, very cute. Alright, let's grab it like that. Line it up, angle it in. And if they don't all work perfectly, you can just gently, gently push them into place. And if you really want to be careful, you can take your knife, just put your finger on the back of your knife so you can gently push it. This gives you more precision. And you can just angle the bottom of the insert piece, just like that, and then just give it a little push. Just take your knife and just push it like that. What you're doing is you're angling the bottom of it in. And then just like that. if you have a little piece there, you can just remove it. And there we go. There's another one. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll just do the last 3 and I'll whip through these really quickly. And our last one, and there we go. Perfect. So I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to pop these into the oven now for about 10 minutes. So when they're baked, I'll be back. So off to the oven. And aren't they cute? Oh, I love these. Okay, so these just came out of the oven a little while ago. They have cooled down quite a bit. I have 2 left. I made 2 extra ones that are right here out of the batter, the white dough, and that's how much I have left. And for the green, I've got that much. So I'll show you what we're gonna do with that after. So this is what we have left of our green and of the non-green. So at this point, you could do probably 1 little cookie out of this part here. What I'm simply going to do is I'm going to take the rest of this, roll it out, and I'm going to make some cute little shamrock cookies with my cutter, and that's what I'm going to do now. So if your dough is a little bit cold, or you see it splitting quite a bit, just take your hand, you can just warm it up. You know, just grab it like you would a snowball, and just kind of hold it and just put your hand on it, press it down, and just let some nice heat from your hand get back into that dough, just like that. I can actually feel it changing just over, the last 15 seconds or so. It just completely changes. We're just warming up the fats that are in here, which is the butter. And there we go. See that? Beautiful. And then I'm just going to roll it out. Alright, and then I'm going to grab my little cookie cutter and just finish up this dough with this cookie cutter. So there we go. And what's so nice about this dough is that it re-rolls very, very easily, and you don't have to keep popping it in the fridge, to relax it. It doesn't need relaxing at all, so you can make these and roll them out, re-roll right into your oven. So there we go. These are cute too, just like that. All right. Just grab all of our excess here. There we go. And one more, I guess, right there. Beautiful. So I'm going to continue on this. I'm just going to roll all of this out. I'll fill up my tray and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I've just rolled out all of the other ones, and that's what I have left. So there we go. I'll probably get 1 more of each out of there, but my tray is full. So into the oven, 350 degrees for this batch. Same oven temperature as the other ones, but I'm only going to bake these for 8 minutes because they're much smaller. So I'll be back in a little while and I'll show you all of our cookies. Alright, here are all the cookies. So we have 8 large ones, and I had a total of 21, but 3 of them have been eaten mysteriously. I came back, I was doing something and I turned my back and I came back and all of a sudden 3 were gone. But anyway, it made a total of 21 of the small ones and 8 large ones. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. These are my Jumbo Shamrock Sugar Cookies. Yum. So I'll see you next time.